Hello, and thank you for joining me for this week's update. We are continuing to see increases in the spread of Delta variant in the county. We are also seeing an increase in case and positivity rates. It is important to note that 77% of our new confirmed COVID cases are unvaccinated individuals, and our local data indicates that people 20 to 40-year-old who are unvaccinated adults are driving our new cases. Vaccinations are clearly protective, and we continue to be in a good place with vaccinations. According to the CDC, 70.5% of our entire population is fully vaccinated, and 83% of our eligible population, those who are 12 and older, are fully vaccinated. And more than 90% of people 12 and older have had at least one dose of the vaccine. This is all good news, but it highlights the fact that these worrisome numbers are concentrated among the unvaccinated who are at great risk and are putting others at risk. The spread of the Delta variant puts not only the adults who don't want to get vaccinated at risk, but it puts children under 12 and adults who've been vaccinated but have compromised immune system in harm's way. So we will continue our efforts to increase vaccination rates. And if you know people who are unvaccinated, please urge them to get vaccinated. This week, MCPS decided to mandate masks in all county schools for students, faculty, and staff and visitors. I support this decision. I think it's the best approach to minimize transmission of the virus and to keep our kids, their families, and MCPS safe at this time. This school decision follows guidance from the CDC and the American Academy of Pediatrics. Additionally, earlier this week, the CDC recommended universal masking in indoor public spaces in jurisdictions that are experiencing substantial transmission rates. At this point, our transmission rate is moderate, not substantial, but we're close. However, some nearby jurisdictions, including the District of Columbia and the City of Alexandria, have hit substantial transmission rates, and today, the district renewed their indoor mask mandate. We could see these rates growing worse before they plateau and decline. And our high vaccination rates are not going to fully protect us. So masking in schools and ensuring that all our friends, family, coworkers, and neighbors are vaccinated is important for everyone's safety. Do it for you, but more importantly, do it for the people you care about. We are making progress getting much needed funding out to residents who need rental assistance. We have distributed almost $29 million since May of 2020 to residents in need. And we're working actively now with the Sheriff's Department, which is providing us a weekly list of those facing evictions so we can prioritize assistance to these most at-risk households. You might remember that nearly a year ago, Dr. Gales issued a series of health officer directives temporarily closing private schools as part of efforts to stem the transmission of COVID-19. At the same time, public schools were also closed. There were a small group of parents who did not agree with this health directive and filed a lawsuit against Dr. Gales, me, and the county, alleging that Dr. Gales did not have the authority to issue the directives. They challenged the constitutionality of those orders. I'm happy to report that federal court has dismissed their lawsuit. This is good news for the county, and I want to thank the Office of the County Attorney for the counsel as we dealt with this matter. As you may know, earlier this week, the police department released video footage of a police-involved shooting of Ryan LaRue. I, like many residents, have questions about this incident. I'm trying to understand how an incident that began calmly suddenly turned violent. I also want to determine whether there are tactical approaches that would minimize the creation of situations where officers find themselves at risk and having to make split-second life or death decisions. We need a careful review of how this outcome may have been averted. My concern is that even if an event is deemed justifiable in that moment, it may not have been inevitable. And if things aren't inevitable, we need to prevent them from following that course. As county executive, I have the responsibility of doing everything I can to prevent this from happening again. So I've asked our partner, Effective Law Enforcement for All, an organization that is working with us on the Reimagining Public Safety Initiative, to work with the county so we can conduct an after-action review of this and other incidents. These reviews will provide additional recommendations for policy and procedures, as well as guidance on any training needed to avoid similar situations. This will not be a separate investigation into this incident, but a set of case studies in how we respond to situations like this and whether our tactics and procedure during, before, and after incidents can and should be improved. I continue to share our condolences with Mr. LaRue's family and friends. I also want to make it clear that we will continue to be transparent by communicating and engaging with the community about this incident throughout the legal process. It is important that every resident feel like the police and other public safety professionals are committed to protecting them. Transparency builds trust, and trust is essential in our efforts to reimagine public safety. I want to close by taking a quick moment to congratulate Montgomery County's own Katie Ledecky on her multiple medals at the Olympics. We will continue to cheer for her and the other Montgomery County athletes competing in this year's Olympics. As always, thank you for listening and for your support, and have a good week.